As we continue on here with our Duroc gilt placing, we pulled the number 1 gilt back out here for you, and we kind of feel like she's on the other end of the spectrum when it comes to where she needs to be placed. Hopefully you found this gilt to be just the poorest built, the really ill-designed, concerning gilt in class from a structure standpoint. And as we get in behind this particular gilt, we showed you from the side just her bill, but this is the prime example of a hog that is outside their skeleton, that rolls on the outside of their hoof wall, plants their weight to the outside of their hoof wall, and then is out at their hock. We just, quite frankly, in the barn call this one bow-legged. This one really concerning from a structural build standpoint. Just the way that she's designed, her skeleton and feet and legs are put together, and then you can tell from the side she's out in her shoulder, she's way too far pitched forward in terms of where her blade sits into her, and then wants to get up in her top, she's really short in terms of that hip length. A gilt that just from a structure standpoint is a big time concern in this particular class. The gilt has plenty of width. She's probably the widest chested gilt coming right at you, and I guess if that's where you get hung up on this particular gilt, yeah, she's got width, yeah, she's got muscle. We didn't exactly run you a gilt in this class, though, that was just narrow or devoid of muscle. And remember, in breeding livestock, we want to keep their feet and legs, at a top priority. And this gilt structurally just too much of a concern. She's opened up through her chest, she's got a ton of product, she's got a ton of muscle, but just need to realize she's the wrong kind and represents, a concern from a structural standpoint. Some things too about this particular gilt is, we'll kind of zoom in here. She's kind of got some rash. Her skin is pretty rough. It's pretty, I guess, just poor from a presentation standpoint. Is probably what I would talk about, as an ID on this particular gilt. I wanted to show you her underline too. In terms of a gilt that's too refined, honestly, about her underline, you can barely see her teats. That's a gilt that just needs to be a little more prominent about her underline, and even comes up short counting on this side of her underline. So a gilt that's got some mass and substance. You could talk about muscle, you could talk about skeletal width on her all day long in your reasons, but she needs to be fourth because her structure simply isn't good enough.